Cheers, everyone. Dave Brown here with the New Populist. Thank you again for joining me. So we just had this Russian mutiny come to an end. And as I said in my previous video, the longer this went on, the worse it would be for Putin and his government. So the fact that they got it resolved this quickly is good news for them. Now, some people in Russia, the hardliners, look at Putin as being too soft, that he doesn't go far enough. And I actually disagree. I think the one thing that has been good for Russia the last 20 years is Putin is measured, controlled, and he never overreacts, because it's when you overreact, that's when you make the big mistakes. And so Putin, throughout this episode here, I don't think he overreacted. He had his 5-minute speech where he had to sort of set the guidelines for what's, what you can do in the country and what you cannot do. And obviously what Wagner did here is unacceptable. But he didn't lose his mind or do anything rash. And I think that's one of his strengths. Now, looking at the situation, how bad is it for Russia? Well, the way I look at it is that sometimes you can get some good things out of a bad situation. That whole, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So there are some pros to the situation and some cons, and I want to go through them because this moment here is going to be very impactful for the future of this conflict. First, a pro, Lukashenko. We had testimony from Victoria Nuland that the U.S. State Department is in contact with the Belarus opposition. So the West would love for Lukashenko to be taken out, and there's been rumors of Lukashenko having health issues. So Putin, by having Lukashenko involved in this process, gave the guy a little bit of shine, made him look good, like he's a person to be reckoned with, like he's a force in that part of the world. So I think Putin threw Lukashenko a bone here by involving him, thanking him personally for resolving the situation, and giving him some credibility with his people and making him look good. Second, another pro for this situation for Russia and Putin, loyalty. When this happened, some people spoke up. People in the Russian government, and some people did not. Be assured that the people who did not speak up and were quiet during this, that has been noticed by Putin and his allies. So this is something of a loyalty test, and those who were very quiet during this event, they're going to be watched with more scrutiny. Another pro, Wagner. Wagner is a PMC, and theoretically, they're not supposed to be operating on Russian soil, and legally, the areas that they're fighting in Ukraine is part of Russian soil. So this issue with the Wagnerites operating in Ukraine needed to come to an end somehow. And because of the situation, now they're going to move some guys to Africa, other parts of the world, and the rest of them, they are going to roll into the regular Russian army. So now you have everything consolidated under one command. No more Prigozhin, no more third parties involved. I think that's good for military cohesion. Another possible pro here, troop movements. Because of this mutiny, troops were moved around Russia and around Ukraine, ostensibly to help out to quell this mutiny. Or not. Perhaps these troops are being moved under that cover for a potential future operation in Ukraine. So this could be used as cover to move troops for a future offensive. And the last one I would say could be a pro for Russia. How did the West react? Russia has their intel services, they're paying attention, and perhaps in some small way, the West tipped their hand by taking this mutiny very seriously and thinking that this was the start of something bigger to come in Russia. So you can be assured that the chatter in the West was, all over the place, and Russia was probably, was watching that, and perhaps they got some clue of what we're planning and what we're thinking. So all of those are pros from the situation. Now, what are some of the cons? Well, lack of continuity. It never looks good for a leader to have this happen to them. And so Putin, it does make him look weak at some level. And this is obviously a situation that he does not want to have. So anyone saying that this was done on purpose, there's collusion between Prigozhin and Putin to fool people, I don't buy that, because this does not make Putin look like a strong leader who's in control of his people. Second one, propaganda for the West. As I mentioned in my other video, the West is fueled by propaganda. Public perception in the West is fueled by the propaganda handed down by the mainstream media and the government. And this is a whole lot of propaganda for the usual suspects to spread around. And this will help them to perhaps get more support to continue the war, more weapons, more money, and perhaps dangerously some sort of escalation. Because as I mentioned, the neocons, if they smell a little blood in the water, what might they do to exploit the situation? So that's something that worries me. And the last one, I think, is a con. If you're an ally of Russia, a partner, this sort of internal instability makes you a little nervous about your partnership with Russia. If you're going to hitch your wagon to somebody, you want to be a country that is strong, that is internally strong and cohesive. And this kind of thing could shake some of Russia's partners into thinking, you know what, maybe this is a sign that Russia ain't that strong, not reliable, and perhaps we're better off going with the West. So from that perspective, I guess, this is a con for Russia. This could shake some confidence in the international community. So mixed bag, this situation. You make the best of it. As Rahm Emanuel said, the former Chicago mayor, make the best out of a bad situation. I'm paraphrasing there. And that's what Putin is going to have to do, and just pick up from here, put this behind them, and move on. And hopefully for them, for Putin and for the government, they finally have this issue with Prigozhin settled, and they can focus on what they need to focus on, not worrying about some knucklehead running his mouth on Telegram, saying all sorts of stupid crap. And that is one thing I will say about the United States. I couldn't imagine a situation where a head of a PMC like Blackwater would be on camera, dropping F-bombs on the Secretary of Defense of the United States. That would never happen. And so we do in the United States have that cohesiveness that Russia seems to lack here with Wagner and some of these characters running around. So the U.S., we do have that cohesiveness. Thankfully, I don't want to see that kind of thing happen in my country. I mean, as much as I don't like the military-industrial complex, this sort of chaos is not good. So they need to sort this crap out, and hopefully this is a step in that direction for them. The last thing I'll say, too, is I want them to fix this problem, because I believe for the entire world it's dangerous for Russia to be have instability. It's not a good thing, neocons. It's a bad thing, because people call Putin a madman. He's crazy, out of control. No, Putin's not the madman. Prigozhin, that's the madman. Imagine Prigozhin being in charge of Russia and having 5,000 nuclear weapons. That is a scary situation. So all this talk about crazy Putin, no. There are way, way worse characters than Putin. And believe me, for the good of the entire world, you do not want people like that in power, because they might press that red button and blow it all up. So Putin, please stay in power and get Prigozhin out of here, so we can get rid of that loose cannon who could start some real crazy crap, which already has. So well, that's it for now. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.